So I'm on YouTube and I'm on Instagram. How exciting. I know it's been a long time since you've seen me live, and I love coming out here and going live with you darlings, my sweeties. Welcome to those of you who are new here. And I know that YouTube has not received my love for a very long time, but you darlings on Instagram always receive my love. So I'm just gonna try and kill two birds with one stone, because you know how it is. How are you doing? How are you doing? Okay, so today I have a call with the girls in House of Swans, and I just wanted to hop on here and then shoot off to House of Swans after this, take a break, and then get on some calls, because I'm a busy girl, okay? But I needed to come and say hello. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Chengi. Okay, lovely. So obviously Black Friday is coming up on Friday, but we have a special deal for those of you who are ready to heal in the House of Swans and ready to do the work and get that expert help. So I'll talk a bit more about that, but we need to get going on today's topic. Okay, this might end up being a series depending on how you ladies take to it. Now, I chose this particular topic because I was recently triggered. Okay, but also because I have been taking a lot of calls from men recently. For those of you who don't know, I do take calls from men, usually via referral. And now and again, I'll have a conversation with a guy in my DMs, and we might end up jumping on a call to see how I can help them find love. But of late, I've had a lot of men booking to speak to me, and I have been having these moments with men who they just don't get it. Okay, but nobody really gets this dating thing. We're all working it out, and I'm hoping to make a little bit of progress with us, okay? Because if we don't get it together, if we don't understand the dating relationship dynamics, the harmony, how to do it, how to respond, and we just get mad. You know, I think what's happened is we live in a society now where everybody just gets mad. Everybody gets upset. Everybody opts for rage. Okay. For women, it's because we're so low on oxytocin. We are so low on that love hormone, that cuddle hormone, that hormone that keeps us soft and feminine and loved and gentle. So we become kind of mean and angry. And men are just still recovering from red pill propaganda, and they're being super mean and angry. But I just want to take you back to a few basics before I get into the particular tests the men will put you through. Okay, so let's start with basic. Men and women will test each other no matter what. This is biology. This is natural. Okay, it is natural that women test men. They test their strength, they test their competency, they test their capability. When we are dating men, we don't even know it, but there are little things that we do that we're completely oblivious to, that we just test men on. We might we'll do a few things, but we are actually always testing each other. Why? Because we have to understand that the primary reason for relationships at all is reproduction. Okay, the dating game, the marriage game, the relationship game is primarily founded on reproduction. And because everybody has a stake in the game, but women carry that long-term harder effect of giving birth to a child for the wrong man, because you're going to be pregnant with that baby. It's going to change your body, your physiology, your psychology, and then you're going to be having to raise that child for probably the next 18 years of your life. So of course it is natural that a woman should test a man for his strength, for his competency. Is he going to be a competent and capable provider, protector? We are going to check and see if there's enough emotional investment so that we know that when we give birth, when we are pregnant, we have that additional support, protection, that we are loved, that we are cared for, because we ultimately are going to be out of service for a big chunk of our lives. Okay, whether we choose to have children, don't choose to have children, whatever, all of this, the psychology is determined by the biology, that we are reproducing beings. Okay, so whether you think, I'm never gonna have kids, I don't want kids, that's good. I can't, that's fine. The bottom line is, whether you choose to, don't choose to, can or cannot, you are primarily men and women designed for multiple things, but one of the ones, multiply, increase, and have dominion. This is one of the mandates. Okay. As a result of that, we're going to run tests, because the ancient woman, the original woman, that original woman, she wasn't playing with testing. You know, if we look through scripture, Jacob's servant had to bring gold and silver and chains. Women always demanded that a man front load his capacity and show his capacity and competency to provide. Women, it is only the 21st century woman that is being asked to not do that. It's been made a problem for the 21st century woman to actually require these things. But women, through the ages, you couldn't even talk to a woman unless you came bearing gifts. And the gifts that you had, the quality of them, even when King Saul wanted to give his daughter, he was like, I want 200 foreskins. Why? Because even fathers required strength. If you're going to have my daughter, and the caliber of the woman determined the caliber of investment and effort that was required for that woman. Okay, which is a king's daughter, a virgin, whatever. Okay, there was all of that. And throughout the ages, it has been completely acceptable that a woman should want a man who can provide, protect, and cherish. But now, with the rise of feminism, we started to shame ourselves for wanting that, and then we got shamed for wanting that, and now we're kind of coming back to femininity and saying, actually, it's the only fair way to go. Okay, but because we lost it along the way, we lost the refinement, because testing is testing perfectly fine. It's the refinement, right? It's the refinement, and this is where we need to understand that the more healed you are, the more refined you are in how you administer these tests. The more traumatized you are, the more wounded you are, the less refined. Okay, so I was saying to the girls in the House of Swans that if you have a father wound that you've never handled, or you think you've handled but you haven't handled, every man you meet has to become the dad you never had. He has to give you what your dad never gave you. He has to perform at the level your dad never gave you, because we are always we're choosing unfinished business. Whenever we choose a partner, we choose unfinished business. Whatever unfinished business we had with a parent, a caregiver, we are going to be pursuing that. So the look of that is going to be unsafe to a man. The look of that is going to be very aggressive, masculine. She's the girl who's like, if I don't pay for dates, if you're gonna take me out, you're paying. Are you gonna pay? If we're gonna go on a date, are you gonna pay? Because if you're not gonna pay, I'm not gonna date. That's that girl running the same protocols as every woman, but from a wounded place, which is why I am running this healing boot camp and this healing journey for us ladies, because in the 10 plus years, the decade plus I've been working with women, the one thing that will take you away from your femininity, from your refinement, from your class, elegance, sophistication, the only reason a man would choose permanency with you, okay, is because we have so many unhealed wounds. we're so unhealed that we're almost feral with it. So I was commenting on a friend's post the other day, and this guy was talking about one of the tests that he runs, and I was trying to help a friend out, just trying to help him out. And I was explaining that test won't actually give him the desired result. It's actually going to just put a woman's back up, and it's not going to work. He didn't like him. And then a girl came after that comment, and she was like, yeah, I hate it. I won't tolerate any of that from any man, blah, 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 blah. And she turned what could have potentially been a really healthy discourse and discussion between men and women into this bullfight, this situation. Okay. And that's where I was like, I get it, but now your unhealed self is coming here and turning what could be a civil conversation into a fight. So obviously I exited the room, okay? Because when I see violence, I'm out. So just as women test men, men will test women. Whether you like it or not, whether you approve or not, whether it triggers you or not, whether you would like the world to be different or not. There's a reel I have on here about the 5 ways men test women. There are actually hundreds of ways that men test women, depending on the man and depending on what he's looking for. And the girls are like, oh, if I see a man testing me, I'm gonna bugger off. I'm not gonna deal with it and lose that. And we're gonna having these kind of moments. And I just need you to understand that relationships are for the mature. I say that a lot, but I'm hoping that we're going to hear it. Relationships are for the mature, and what that means is you cannot be reactional to everything because it doesn't suit you, because it doesn't fit in with whatever you think it should be. Relationships require a slow, calm, thoughtful mindset. If you have no emotional control over certain things, you're always going to lose. Men will test you for 2 primary reasons. They will test you to protect their heart. Sound familiar to anybody? Anybody ever wanted to protect their heart? Why? Why do men want to protect their hearts? Because the male soul is 100 times more sensitive than the female soul. Women are soft and fragile on the outside, but resilient on the inside. Men are strong, resilient on the outside, but truly, truly fragile on the inside. And the problem with the modern day woman is, and the world and the conditioning, is that we have dehumanized men and almost made them another species. They don't help themselves. I get it. They don't help themselves, okay? They don't always help themselves, but they're actually human. And they have very, very sensitive souls. So a man will test you to see if his soul is safe with you. That's the number one, okay? They're also very hard on themselves. Very hard on themselves. You'll be surprised how many men are a proper catch that I speak to, not for my personal dating, but in my professional life, who doubt their value. Like, who are like, was I not good enough? And I'm thinking, sir, you are like what every girl wants. What are you going on about? But I've understood that the male soul and the male world doesn't dish out self-esteem and self-respect at highest cost. Men often have to earn, fight hard, work hard to get status, to become anything, to own anything. A man's world is harsh and it is hard, and he doesn't get given anything for free. So he's going to want to test you. Are you safe with his heart? And can I just say that 99.2% of women are dangerous around men because we're so angry. We're carrying the wounds of Jack, Paul, Simon, Peter. We are carrying the wounds of our mothers. We're carrying the reality of being oxytocin starved, of being touch starved. We are so angry that a man's soul is not safe with us. And if we're going to be 100% honest with ourselves, when you're by yourself, ask yourself, am I truly safe? Or do I actually walk into a room or deal with men with a already? So in the House of Swans, one of the girls was posting a situation she had with a gentleman. And she said, you know, she wanted feedback from the coaches. This is what happened over the weekend. He didn't, there kind of was a mix up of timelines. He was supposed to call, he texted earlier to probably tell her he wasn't going to be able to make the call, but she didn't answer because she was at work. By the time she noticed and was ready for the call, she realized that he had texted, and there's this whole kind of confusion. Eventually they get each other and he's like, I'm so sorry, people came over and this is what happened. Can I can I call you later? And she turned around and said, look, forget it, we're not aligned. And this is such a wonderful, sweet girl, but the coaches and I had to be like, ooh, too fast, no, right? The damage had already been done because we're coming into the dating world angry. We are really angry. Thank you, Ray K. We're coming in angry. And can I just say that anger is often an auxiliary emotion. It's a secondary emotion. What really is happening is we are heartbroken. If you're wondering why my reels have a lot to do with heartbreak, it's because in the decade plus I've been working with women, it's when we heal the heartbreak. That's why I've created the school group, the House of Swans, and given you a good 30-day challenge, because we need to get to the heartbreak. And some of this heartbreak is not because Johnny did something to me or Simon did something to me. It's because I grew up brokenhearted. I didn't have a dad to show me. I'm brokenhearted because I had to figure this out on my own. I'm brokenhearted because I gave the best years away to a bozo. I am brokenhearted because I've never felt loved. Brokenheartedness is the reason for the hurt. And so an angry woman is a hurting woman, is a heartbroken woman. And if we keep ignoring our broken hearts in favor of just give me somebody. Thank you, Coach Nadine, for putting the link in there. Just give me somebody. Dude, I don't care. I'm heartbroken. Just give me somebody, and the heartbreak, it doesn't go away. What happens is you show up heartbroken and then you side eye. And you come in with projections. And this girl literally projected the whole thing. So we had to say, no, he was courteous enough to call you, to ping you ahead of time. Yes, you may have missed him, but he also made an offer to call you some other time. This guy has done nothing wrong. And I think the poor guy must have been like, what have I done? But he must have thought, what is freaking going on? And that was just her projections. But I love her because she was like open to be held accountable. Did I do the right thing? This is the conversation, because in the House of Swans, the girls will share their screenshots, they will share their dating apps, they will share everything, and we show up and we show them what to do, and there's loads of things going on in there. And this is what we're encountering. This is what we're facing. So men have overcorrected. They are now testing women from a place of fear. Okay. Men, our daddies tested our mommies. Men will test. Their brains, and the way the masculine brain works is it gets information from response. So men are testers. They test everything. The robustness of things. It's just how they're wired. And they get feedback from the response. But they used to be have a little bit of finesse. They used to have a bit of finesse with it. But now they are feral. Okay, they are savage. I was talking to this guy on a call, and thank goodness the camera was off on that day, because if he had seen my expressions while he was talking, he probably would have been shooketh. His testing protocols were like an initiation ritual that included hazing. I mean, I was, and he was defending his position, hook, line, and sinker. And I listened and I was like, sir, do you actually want love? Like, are you sure you are ready? Oh yeah, and he was so proud. So proud. But I was like, there isn't a woman worth her weight in gold who is going to be hazed like that. And this guy is a very successful man, very tall, very handsome, the type that girls want. But he hasn't healed his heart either. So what we have are broken-hearted people trying to make a connection. So I want to talk about two types of guys. There is the broken man, okay? The guy who's been to therapy but is still broken. And by the way, a lot of you have been to therapy but you're broken as hell, okay? Because therapy is not a magic wand, okay? Just because you go to therapy doesn't mean you're part of the healed club. It just means you go to therapy. Okay. He said, oh, I've done the work. I've been to therapy. I'm like, and you came out worse, clearly, right? You came out worse. They're two types of men, and they're going to run these tests very differently. Okay. There is the wounded man. He's going to be so overt with his tests, the ones we're going to go through in a minute. He's going to do too much because he's actually broken, and his wounds don't allow him to actually connect. So these tests have actually become barriers to connection. And he feels safer holding women at arm's length and making it so hard and making them jump all of these hoops. Because the truth is, until he heals the wound, he's not actually ready to connect. So this guy, he's going to be overtly testing you, and you're going to feel it. You're going to be like, what the hell is going on? You're going to be like reeling. Like, what just happened? Right? That's that guy. And that's the guy that gets us mad, right? That's the guy that friggin' makes us go crazy. We don't like this guy. This guy, he makes us mad. We don't like him. Okay. Then we have the high quality, mature, healed man, or healing man, but mature man. He is fathered, not necessarily by his biological father, but he has been fathered. He is grounded in his masculinity. He's testing you too, but he has way more finesse. Okay? He has way more finesse. Confusion is a test. No, it's not. But we can talk about that later. The guys that you want are going to test you, but with a little bit more sophistication. So I'm going to get into it, and then we're going to talk about all the other things. And I'm not going to get into all of it because I want to do this in small bites. I'll be back this week and we'll go on to it again. Okay. And we're going to keep doing it until you understand the tests the men give you standardly. And each man is going to have the standard masculinity test and his own personal tests. You probably don't see it or understand it if he's really high value. And I want to teach you how to, I don't want to say pass the test, but how to know you're being tested and how to leverage your femininity and your high valueness to use as an opportunity to build connection and raise attraction. Okay? To raise connection and build attraction. We cannot get data on anyone who we are not raising attraction for, right? And this is where the men get it wrong, the hazing and the initiation and the nonsense that they're doing, the ones that are unhealed. They can never get data from a woman whose back is up, right? So we need to first understand that in order for us to get data on a man, in order for a man to get data on us, he must respond to our test, to what we do and say in such a way that if it fosters connection and raises attraction. We're not going anywhere if these things are not established. And we're aborting mission a little too quickly. We're running off a little too quickly, right? So the first test, these are not in any particular order, girlies, okay, is the authentic attraction test. A man wants to know, a more high quality man is going to move a little bit differently because he understands the nature of a woman. He knows that he needs to woo her. That feminine energy takes a while to warm up. Like I was saying on my friend's post, the feminine body takes about 3 days before she starts to decide how she actually feels. Now, the mature, healed man is not going to come through from the gate with big tests, okay? He's going to understand that the nature of the feminine is that it needs to be wooed. The nature of the feminine needs to be made to feel safe. And that he has to establish, first and foremost, that he is competent, capable, and strong. This is a mature man. Okay. So he's not going to come out of the gate and start testing you. An immature man is going to come testing you from the gate. Here's what he's going to do. An immature man is going to take you, he's going to see that you're a lovely, refined lady. And then he's going to take you to a dump or offer you a date that's ridiculous. He's gonna, let's go for a walk. It's not that he's broke. Because some of you girls, you think because men are doing these things because they're broke. It's not because they're broke. It's because they're not, the wounds are bleeding, okay? So he's gonna say, let's go for a walk, or insist on just doing something, having a coffee, or a low investment, low effort date. The test there is not, I want to see if you're a gold digger. The test there is, are you genuinely interested in getting to know me, or are you just interested in what I can provide? Remember, he's worked very hard. He's protecting his heart and he's protecting his future. If he has a future worth protecting, he wants to see, is this the kind of woman who is into me because of my stuff? Is she into me because I take her to nice places? So this immature man is just going to come from the gate and lead with low effort and low investment. And then, of course, you're going to feel some kind of way. Like, what? Or you're going to go along with it and then come away feeling some kind of way. Okay. The more quality guy, he's going to test you when he takes you somewhere lovely. He's going to take you somewhere nice. Okay. And then he's going to watch and see, is it the place you're focused on, or are you really focused on him? Are you here? Obviously, he wants, there are a lot of things we're going to talk about later. Respect test, appreciation test, all the things, they're coming later, okay? But he wants to see, are you zeroed in on him? Are you paying attention to him? Thank you, darling. Thank you. Are you paying attention to him? Are you interested in him as a man? Not the things he has, not the things he's doing. Are you interested? So he's going to take you out. He's going to treat you like a lady. And then he's just going to watch how you act, how you behave, the quality of your questions. If you're like, so how much do you earn? And what do you do? And what car do you drive? He's a mature man. He's going to be like, every question this girl has asked me, every move she's made, every time her eyes have moved to my watch, everything about her says, I'm here for the experience and not for me. Now, a feminine woman who knows how to date like a high value feminine woman knows that she cannot get distracted by the things a man is giving her, showing her. She has to zero in on the man. She has to ask him questions nobody's asked him before. She has to be, when she speaks and she answers his questions, they're not materialistic responses. They are heart responses, because the feminine woman always speaks from her heart. The feminine woman always answers from her heart. Even if he says, what do you do for a living? The feminine woman is going to say, I love helping people. I love helping women develop their self-esteem. I really enjoy that. Feeling words, love, enjoy. I enjoy helping women work on their hearts and stop being heartbroken and find love again. I love helping people tell a new love story. That's what I do. Okay. It's not about, well, I make a ton of money online and all of that. Okay. When you lead with your heart and you ask him a question, not what do you do, but why do you do it? Why finance? Why accounting? Why that business and not the other? What wakes you up in the morning? What drives you as a man? What makes your clock tick? I'm interested in you. This more mature man is gonna be like, okay. That doesn't mean he stopped testing you, but he's got a little bit more finesse. Thank you, Annabelle. You are showing him that you're a heart-centered being. You're showing him that I really love and appreciate all this effort. It's fantastic. But I'm really here to get to know you. That's why I put on this pretty dress. I'm here to get to know you, sir, because I'm interested in you. Because guess what? You're a black swan, so you're smart, and you know that men are going to test for that. Why? If a man doesn't feel that your attraction is genuine and about him, here's where the testing gets really bad. The testing gets really, really bad because now he's going to go into feral mode. Because if he's not feeling like the interaction in any way shows that you're interested in him as a man, as a person, as a human, interested in his thought processes and have an opinion about the way he feels. And when I say an opinion, I'm not talking about being opinionated, but wow, do you really see the world that way? Why? That's so interesting. When did you learn to see the world that way? When did you learn to view the world that way? What brought you to that understanding? I'm interested in who you are, how your mind works, how your systems work. That, for a high quality man who is secure, is really all he needs to know, because he's having multiple conversations with multiple women and he knows the conversations he's having. The other feral guy is out here playing funny games, taking you to funny dates and seeing how you react and putting you in unsafe situations. And, because he's trying to make a point that, I remember watching The Millionaire Matchmaker, and I think one guy came in a dustbin truck to take the girl on a date because he wanted to see if she's in it for that's woundedness, that's brokenness. But let's say you end up with that guy. Let's say you didn't know. You thought he was okay. Because some of these guys look okay. They look okay. You didn't know that he was that guy. And you go on a date with him and he takes you to McDonald's. Okay? Nothing wrong with McDonald's. Nobody must sue me. But we know what we know what I mean. Don't we, swans? So he takes you on a date to McDonald's. You can say, what are we doing here? Like, no, I don't want to be here. We need to go somewhere else. You can do that, which will be a low value sign and symbol that you don't have breeding. And that men are not going to invest long term. And by the way, men will only really test you if they want something long term. If they don't want anything long term, they'll be charming, sweet, sleep with you and send you packing. Okay, so if they're actually vetting for something long term, that's when the tests are going to begin. But what you can actually say is, thank you so much for bringing me here. Unfortunately, I find there's certain fats that my body can't digest. Would it be okay if we went somewhere where we can have something a little bit healthier? I'd really appreciate it. Good morning, Jasmine. Good morning, Candy Tate. Right? That's the feminine high value way of dealing with that situation. And then if there's redemption, thank you, Latressa Williams. I do this with the girls in the House of Swans. When they bring a scenario, I bring a scenario to them and I'm like, if a guy does this for you or to you, I want you to give me the most graceful, most feminine answer. And it's always so much fun because the girls be in there giving me all the answers. And some girls just get a standing ovation from me. And we can correct it because it doesn't ever matter whether the man is healed or not. When you are a wise black swan, you know you're going to be tested. You just understand it and you go with it, because once he has ticked off in his little male brain, and for some men are so ridiculous that they want to feel like you have hot, burning, passionate desire for them from the first date, which is ridiculous. But the more mature ones, once they get that initial tick that you're not that girl who just, that there's potential, you are actually interested in him, that's going to lower his cortisol, that's going to calm his nervous system, and there might be a real quick turnaround. So I'll give you an example. I have a client and she went on a date with this guy, really gorgeous, 6'3", if you're into tall guys, if that's your thing, but he happened to be 6'3", jacked, sexy as hell. Okay, really did well for himself. So for most women, this is a catch, right? She goes on this date, but she's been a black swan a while and she understands the game. So he starts off from the gate with the tests. He took her to a nice restaurant. Nothing wrong with the place. He took her to a nice place, but he knows that she doesn't smoke, and you could tell that she was a lady, so he puts her in the corner. He's like, oh, I want to smoke shisha, whatever, and I'm gonna, and he kept putting her in discomfort. And the multiple tests he was running in that scenario, and because she was so calm, he was running all the tests from the gate. Oh, by the way, I've got 2 girls and I'm in a situationship with. Now, the average girl with no training, she gonna be like, what? I didn't tolerate any of that. But when you're a black swan, you understand that it's a test, baby. And we're gonna talk about that kind of test. But he was testing her from the gate. Because whilst he has everything, he's good looking, blah, blah, blah. Guess what I said earlier? Men have a sensitive soul. Guess what I said? He's protecting his future. He's worked really hard to create this life. And at the end of the evening, when he had tested the hell out of her, and guess what she just did? She just did the black swan thing, and she was like, oh, I see. Oh, I'm in a situation with 3 girls. Since I shush up with 3 girls. Oh, I see. Okay. When he said, oh, I want to have 8 babies. Oh, how lovely. Okay. And throughout the night, he would sort of lean back and watch. At the end of the evening, when he was dropping her off, he said, you're a real woman. He's like, I've dated girls, but you're a woman. And he dropped her off, called her literally 30 minutes after the date. He said, I need to see you again. The next date was in a 5-star luxury Michelin star restaurant where he booked the travel, booked everything. Why? Because she just passed the test. Now, those of you who have no training, because when I invite you to the House of Swans, you don't want to come, you better come to the House of Swans, okay? I think there's a nice little offer going on right now, super cheap. Don't miss it. And you get 7 days free trial anyway. When I'm finished here, I'm going to the House of Swans. Y'all better be in there when I get there, okay? Because we don't need to be hemorrhaging relationships because we're ignorant, okay? 2026 is up the road. I want stories of love. I want to release the black swans into the world. Because let me tell you something. What you're learning on this live, what my girls are learning in the House of Swans, put you a cut above the rest. You become an elite woman that a man can never, ever, 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 ever forget. And this is how my girls get married. Because if you don't know you're being tested, or you've got an attitude about being tested, which is particularly the problem, you can miss out on a good thing. You can be like, what? So why do you invite me out for dinner then if you know that you got to, I don't do situationships. I deal with real men that don't do situationships. And no, I don't want to have 20,000 children with you. I don't want to do any of that. All of it. You're going to miss out to the black swan who knows how to respond to foolishness. I'm glad that this is helping you, my darlings. I will tune in more in YouTube, I promise. I'll be a good girl. Which leads me to the final one that I'm going to share before I leave, and maybe take a few questions before I move on, because I want to take a little bit of a break before I go into House of Swans. The next one is an attitude test. This is big. Men are going to test your attitude. What they want to see is how patient you are. Why? Because multiple reasons. The toxic guy wants to see how much crap he can get away with, okay? But the average good man wants to see if you can be patient with him when he's not performing at 100%. He wants to see how you will handle him when things are rough. Because guess what? Men are always protecting their future and their hearts. Their future and their hearts. Why? They are the investors. We are the assets or the liabilities. You choose. The woman is the asset or the liability. You choose. The man is always the investor. He's the one putting down the money. He's the one putting down the effort. He's the one putting down the investment because he's the one planning the dates. He's the one paying for the dates. If he's a gentleman, he's the one going out of his way to create this experience for you. It gets expensive. It draws on his time, and time is something that a man of any value shouldn't have a whole bunch of, right? And he's investing all that in you. It's important that you are an asset. It's important that that time spent with you, that money spent with you, actually is an asset to him before he even thinks of taking you on permanently. We don't think that way because we're not the ones investing. But what we are the women that are choosing to be assets or liabilities. Your wounds are going to make you a liability. Your healed self, your healing self is going to make you an asset. And it's how you respond. So he's going to check your attitude. Maybe you're going on a date. He's going to come a few minutes, 10 minutes late. You know that time when you were supposed to meet him for a date and he was 10 minutes late? And he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on my way, I'm running late." He's going to see how you're going to handle it. He's going to see, is she going to pop off? Is she going to start telling me about myself? Is she going to storm off? He's testing you. Sometimes he's not even consciously aware that he's testing you. But he wants to know, how do you handle things? He's going to push some of your boundaries to see whether you're going to push back violently, open your mouth and start. Because that's the liability woman. That's the woman who has no real understanding of her self-worth. If you're the kind of woman that runs your mouth whenever a man does something, he will never respect you. And men don't commit to women they don't respect. They don't fall in love with women they don't respect. But they do respect women who align their words with their actions. If I set a boundary, there's a consequence. You know, I don't feel comfortable meeting you at your house. I don't feel safe meeting a man at his place. Oh, but we're just gonna watch TV and I'm just gonna make you dinner because I'm a really good cook and blah, 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 blah. You can be the girl that says, listen, I know you're just trying to get laid and I'm not on that type of time. So if you're not gonna be, okay, and go down that road. Or you can just say, well, thank you for inviting me, but maybe when you're ready to take me out somewhere public, I'll make myself available. I hope you have a wonderful evening and you make yourself something really delicious to eat. Consequence. I said what I said. I'm not going to go around the houses and yell and scream and if you push against my boundaries, sir, the consequence is you will lose my time and my attention. It's really that simple. No attitude is required for setting boundaries. We don't need an attitude. We don't. No need for an attitude. No need for it. No need for, listen, I don't like men who just want to sleep with me. You just want to sleep with me because you men just want to sleep with. Why are we doing all that? Why? You're just not passing the test. He's just testing you to see if I push her boundaries, is she going to disrespect me? If I push her boundaries, she's going to be out here running her mouth. Because he wants to know if his heart is safe with you. And women with an attitude are not safe to men, not even to other women. I've got to be honest, I'm so selective on my friendships. If you're that kind of girl that is cantankerous and everything must lead to loud voices and a fight, we will never be friends. Never. We will not breathe the same air because the moment I see you coming, I'm leaving. Because I don't tolerate that as a woman. How much more a man who's got a more sensitive center, who's got a more gentle center? A man's not going to tolerate that. A man's not going to be sitting there tolerate. And let me tell you something. A man will tolerate disrespect if he just wants to sleep with you. Men will pretty much sleep with women that disrespect them, but they're not committing. You share that too. Yeah. They're not committing. They're not going to make you their girlfriend or wife if you have an attitude. Gotta park that behavior. You can say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. Say what's on your mind. Say what you're thinking. Say it respectfully, but say it clearly and say it with a smile, because nobody can jar you out of your feminine. Nobody. All of this talk about, oh, he's pulling me out of my feminine. If somebody can get you out of your feminine, you were never feminine. Can I just say that? You're getting better with the responses. That's brilliant. Well done. Proud of you. If somebody can do something that gets you out of your feminine, you were never in your feminine, because feminine is default. Feminine is where you live. And when anything happens that potentially gets you out of your feminine or makes you triggered, that has nothing to do with that person. That has everything to do with your unhealed wounds. Is staying quietly upset without a mean look not being feminine? Okay, I love that question. Look, I am not issuing a gag order, all right? If a man does something that is upsetting, there is a way to communicate that to him in a way that his male brain and his masculinity receives that as feedback and need for correction. And there's a way to communicate it to him in a way that triggers his competitive energy. That in the masculine is either triggering us to safety, to comfort, to softness, or he's triggering us into unsafety, to feral behavior. We're always dynamically triggering each other. So just because you've made me upset, just because you've triggered a wound that is usually pre-existing, because if a man does something and I am upset, hey Rachel, and I am super, super upset, and I am like quiet with an attitude, and the energy is horrible. That's not going to communicate to a man that is looking for a wife, a long-term relationship, that his heart is safe with you. Sometimes all you have to say is, when you said that, I felt so upset. I just need some time. That's it. That's it. He's gonna know. And the way men are wired, especially if they're masculine, is when you communicate that something they did, said, or the way they behaved made you feel upset or hurt, and they genuinely are not weirdo, sociopathic narcissists, okay? They're just genuine guys who probably did something, maybe it was testing you and it didn't go down well, or whatever the situation is. If you communicate the hurt, when you said that, I felt hurt and disregarded, and I just need some time to process, and maybe we can come back to this later. By the time you say that and give him space, he's already told himself off 20,000 times. Men will have that internal dialogue. Men will be like, you idiot, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, they will talk themselves and they'll put themselves right, because what you presented was vulnerability. You did not present combat. You didn't invite them into combat, right? The problem is we as women haven't been mothered well. We haven't been taught the power of the feminine is different from the power of the masculine. So I'm not issuing a gag order. I'm actually inviting you to operate from your highest self. And you can't be feminine if your soul is not healed. Yes, I experienced that with my brother growing up. Yeah. If your soul is not healed, your go-to is going to be fight, 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 fight. Right? But when you take your healing journey, you slow things down. You know, masculine is fast, reactive. Why? Why does the masculine have to be fast, reactive? Because if we're in danger, you don't have time for a man to figure out how he's going to defend you. Right? If danger is coming, he has to be very fast and very reactive. It is part of masculine energy. It's how testosterone works, all of the things. So men are naturally faster, reactive. They're more that way inclined if they're in their masculine energy. But the feminine is wisdom. The feminine is calm. The feminine is soft. And the feminine takes her time. She's passive, patient, vulnerable. If you find yourself out of that energy, you are in your masculine. And that's okay if you're defending your little baby from the wolves or from some accident or whatever. Yeah, go into your masculine, protect that baby because nobody else is going to do it. Or if you're actually protecting something where you are responsible for that thing and no one else is going to help you, of course, you have to step into your masculine. But if you are constantly triggered, everything gets you. You are creating a setup where a man's nervous system is dysregulated. Like, he's like, she's unsafe, she's unsafe, she's unsafe, and you're just thinking, but I just want to be heard, and I just want to be understood, and I just want to be known. But then, guess what he's going to do? If he's a quality man, he's going to ghost you. Or, if he's a really high quality man, he's going to say, look, it was really good knowing you, but I'm busy, or I don't think we're going to take this any further. Men of quality won't fight for their right to feel safe around you. They will just leave. And that's why we're walking around here heartbroken, because the one quality man that gave us time, that gave us attention, that one quality man, we can't hold him. He left us. He just disappeared. We went on 2 dates and you haven't heard from him for months. This is why. I'm not saying this is the only reason why, but I'm saying 95% of the time this is why. It's because you failed that attitude test. You failed the safety test. You overreacted. He might make a statement that is typically online, something that's got everybody going wild and crazy. You know, I think the man is the prize. What do you think? Right? And because we're so ill-informed, and some of us enjoy our ignorance, let's just be honest, if you're not actually doing something about it, you enjoy it. And because we're ill-informed, we're going to be like, no, the woman is the prize. I am the prize. I hate men who are princesses. They're just, these men, you men are just princesses. My boyfriend didn't answer any text for 5 days. When he came back, I was calm. but I lost it when he didn't make time, no answer or returned calls over the weekend, only text, no time spent on phone. I know. And this is part of being a quality woman, is your ability to self-regulate. Your ability to self-regulate is really the difference between you being a high value, high status, high worth woman that men just want to keep. And if you're not regulated, you are a liability. Because he doesn't know what is brewing underneath that little attitude. Because men, remember, they make decisions based on feedback. So are you going to give a response, or are you going to be out here bleeding all over him? Yes, I failed these tests because I lacked the wisdom of knowing tests are inevitable. Thank you for being honest about that, Jasmine. Lorraine says, is there a power to getting someone upset? Like, it looks like the girl cares so much, or could these incidences be a test of a girl's personality? You know, your personality, in truth, is the maturation of your ego. So we can go into that on another day. Actually, in the House of Swans, you will access high value nice girl rehab, where I talk about the personality and the ego. Okay, you might want to go watch that. Go in there. 7 days free trial, girls. You can do it for 7 days and come out if you want to. Elle says, I'm regulated, but he's a threat to my nervous system. I felt he was a liability. His response to me being honest was, at least I tried to text. If you don't like it, bye. So then I got really upset. Oh dear. Let me see you in the House of Swans, young lady. And we can talk about that a little bit more. Is it also a test when he speaks about his, mentions his ex every now and then? Yes, that's perhaps to check your attitude about it, whether you're going to have an attitude about it. You know, for me, I am very neutral when men talk about their exes. Okay. And I don't build on that conversation. I don't investigate further. You have every right to say what you want to say. I will hold space for it. But mature quality men know that that's not conversation to be bringing to a woman of standards. So if he's bringing that to you, it's because he's insecure, or there's something going on with him. But honestly, the rule, if you like, for quality women is we don't give oxygen to things that we don't see value in, or things that are, if there's no need for a response, if it is not important for you to respond, just say, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you. Oh, I'm really sorry that happened to you. So you change the subject, or let him change the subject. The bottom line, ladies, is it's your response, right? Yes, men know the things that trigger women, and they're gonna do it. If he wants to really get to the bottom of who you are, he's gonna trigger you with a subject that he knows bothers women. What about the men that give dating advice to be the femme fatale woman, be mean? I love that question. Shantushai, I hope I said that properly. Okay. I love that question. I'll tell you why I love that question. Before I'm gonna come back on Thursday. Pray for me, God willing, and we're gonna go through the loyalty test, the freedom test, all of them. We're gonna go through all of them on Thursday. I promise. I will come back live on Thursday, but I want to just answer that question before I go to the House of Swans. Remember, 7 days free trial. I'll see you behind in the live. Okay. So if you still got questions, I'm going to see you. So go to the link in my bio if you're on Instagram, and you will be able to register, and I'll see you in there live, and you can ask me some more questions. If you're on YouTube, go to my latest video. Under this video, I will put the link, but for those of you who are watching right now want to get in with me as I go in, it's in my latest video, okay? Go in the description, the link will be there. And it's a 7-day free trial, and Black Friday is coming up, so I think there's even a bigger discount. So it's almost free, girls. It's like free, like whatever. So to answer your question, we started off talking about healing hurt hearts, wounded hearts. There are a lot of wounded healers, and I used to be one of them. Okay, I used to be a wounded healer. But I'm very grateful to God that I've always been the kind of person who checks myself, checks my spirit, checks my intentions before I speak. I don't always get it right. Sometimes I've let bitterness take the lead, and God forgive me, but there are a lot of wounded healers. There are a lot of wounded coaches, and the biggest problem we're having right now is because so many men are unfathered. And when I say unfathered, I'm really not talking about didn't have a father in the home. It's played out. I'm talking about unmentored, uncared for by other older men. A lot of men are looking to broken men for advice. I told you earlier about the gentleman I had a conversation with, and his protocols, like I said, were like an initiation ritual with hazing included, you know. And I know he got all of those strategies from a feminine energy man who was wounded and happened to choose to bleed online. And when you are wounded and you bleed online, you are going to attract other people that are wounded and bleed online. And just because you are the one who was brave enough to open your mouth and do it publicly, because everybody knows that this kind of work is not for the faint-hearted. And you were just the one ready to a lot of men follow a lot of male dating coaches. To me, 90% of dating coaches are wounded men leading wounded men, and 90% and 80% of female dating coaches are wounded women leading other wounded women. So, to answer your question, I think that those men are wounded, and they are perpetuating the woundedness in other men. They are capitalizing on the woundedness in other men. And can I just say, when you are healed, you stop getting entertained by the stuff that makes you feel good all the time. You start to open yourself up to the stuff that makes you uncomfortable. I used to design my feed to listen to people that only said the things I agreed with. Like, if I agreed with you, I'm gonna follow. If I agree with you, I'm gonna follow. And then I redesigned my feed, and I wanted people that tell the truth that I don't want to hear. And I decided I want to be triggered. I want you to say something to me that is going to trigger me so that I can go internally and work on it, because I want to be healed. I want to be whole. And when you are healed and you are whole and you're working towards that, you stop wanting to just follow the people that are going to be like, yeah, girl, don't tolerate any of that nonsense. These men are la la la, and these men are la la la, and these men are la la la. You come to Black Swan, where we take accountability, where I help you and give you solutions and help you understand the male brain and help you understand the masculine energy so that you can position yourself in your feminine. And it's going to be uncomfortable because I'm calling you out of habits. I'm calling you out of brokenness. And no, it's not going to go viral. This video, it's not going to go viral because nobody wants to hear it. Everybody wants to be told these men ain't nothing. These men are blah, 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 blah. And I'm not on that. Okay, Tembi, I will see you in the House of Swans because I've got a minute and I gotta go. But girls, ladies, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much. I'll see you on Thursday on both platforms. And if you're not in the House of Swans by then, you better be by Thursday, okay? I love you to bits and pieces. Thank you so much for being here with me. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.